Always great catching up with the general behind Fortis MMA, Safe Sayud, who's going to be in the corner of Brandon Moreno. He's helping him get ready for his big fight, UFC Mexico City, coming up here against Steve Erceg. Safe, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, James. Good to catch up with you, man.
Yeah, and happy to catch up with you after a big weekend for you. 100 wins as a coach. Congratulations on that. Did you know that you were getting close to that number? Because obviously it was something they mentioned after Sam Hughes' win on the weekend.
Yeah, no, I did. A couple years ago, probably about a year and a half ago, Fernie Garcia had put together a list, and we were at 85, and
Okay.
it's pretty easy to track,
Yeah.
with the guys at the gym, the girls. And so he's like, man, and 100 wins was always my goal. I set out to do that like a long time ago because I thought it was such a hard goal and such a big goal that would push me so far that if I ever got to it, that I would know that I had done a ton of work, and that's exactly how I felt. I mean, I was thinking about it yesterday, and I just can't believe that it actually happened. And it really is kind of a surreal thing to have had that many successful nights there because it's not easy, James. I mean,
Mhm.
every single time you're making that walk with an athlete, it doesn't matter how ready you believe you are. You just never know what can happen in there. So it's really a credit to all the athletes and every single all the coaches and just the consistency for our team. Really something to be proud of.
Yeah, it's good. Good. Obviously, going into this fight with Brandon's big fight coming up, because I know you and Brandon have worked now for a number of fights. I want to go all the way
Yeah.
back because my understanding was they were working on a different main event for Mexico. Brandon, of course, Mr. Mexico. Why not have him there? When did you guys get
Yeah.
notice about this fight? Because I think we found out maybe a month or two ago. Did you guys get a decent amount of notice?
Yeah, it was a little bit before that.
Mhm.
But yeah, you nailed it. Brandon's fought there a lot, and had a hard time there a lot of the time as well, just because there's so much extra going on. But he's in a totally different mind space right now. And I think that when, we got the call for this, he's really ready for anything. And so we jumped on it.
Yeah. Were there? Do you know if there were any other opponents in the mix, or were they always going with Ursay? Because I think some people were like, "How's Ursay getting this fight coming off the loss? He's getting a main event, but it's going to be an entertaining fight." And I think that's what really is going to sell the fans on that main event.
Yeah. I mean, I'm gonna give Erceg his flowers. I think that this is a very tough fight. And I
Mhm.
think that Erceg lost to Pantoja, which, everyone's lost to Pantoja. You got to give Pantoja his credit. I mean, he's been an incredible champion. And then he got knocked out against Kai Kara France, who, it was a very close fight, and he was pressuring him. He made the wrong read, and Kai Kara planned that out. I mean, he threw that 3 times, so he set it up. I mean, if you watch the fight, but yeah, everybody can get caught. So he lost to the very best guy, and then he lost to another guy that's been in the top four
Mhm.
for what, 4 years or whatever. Kai Kara has been up there forever. I mean, I don't think we can't be dismissive of this kid. I think he's dangerous. I think he, poses different threats than Albazi posed. And I think it's a fight we've really got to prepare for. So it's for us, it's a really hard fight, and the guy doesn't have any really recognition because of kind of what's happened.
Mhm.
But we are taking him very seriously.
And when Brandon's doing these camps, so he's like leaving his family, I'm assuming, and living out in Texas and training there. It's got to be a bit of, it's kind of like a rocky camp, minus the better weather, though, obviously. But, for him, like, I imagine he's just dialed in because he's not at home and he's getting to work with you guys.
Yeah, well, we've done Texas. We did Texas for three camps.
Mhm.
And we he would do a whole camp, and then Albazi didn't fight, and then we wasted a camp. So when we did the Mexico City camp for Royval, uh, Brandon was gone for, I don't know, 5 weeks, maybe
Mhm.
almost 5 weeks, and it was just too long. And
Right.
by the time he got to the fight, he just didn't want to be there. He was so tired. He hadn't seen his kids for weeks, and his whole motivation is his kids. Like that is his life. That's
Mhm.
his lifeblood, his family. I mean, he's not a guy that cares about fame or any of that. So I think the whole thing has really drained him. So this time, uh, he's only been down there for I think three. It's gonna be 3.5 weeks,
Okay.
4 weeks. But he was in Vegas the whole time before that, and we were doing work in Vegas. So we did a good little bit of camp in Vegas first, and got everything sharp before we go down there. So it's all about finding the right balance for a guy at that level. I mean, Brandon will do whatever I ask him to do. If I tell him, "Hey, I want to do this, I want to do that," he's yes, sir. I mean, that's the kind of guy he is. But that doesn't mean you're going to get the best out of him.
Mhm.
Your job as a coach at this level, of a champion, um, is how do you get the very best out of him? How do you keep him healthy? How do we get back to the title? Two-time champion, be the first three-time champion ever. And those are the things you're trying to do. The guy doesn't need to prove himself, right? So
Mhm.
you don't need to beat him down. So each one of these is different. And obviously these are championship fights or main events. So the Mexico City elevation is just not a game. So I mean, Erceg has been down there too for a few weeks. I saw him when I was down there at the PI, and he's a very smart kid. He has a very high fight IQ, and I'm sure they're preparing as well.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Who does Brandon get to work with as far as bodies at the gym? Because when you think of Fortis, you think of kind of the heavier guys, just basically like 145 and up. So who does he work with when it comes to your camps?
Now we've got we brought in Adrian Yanez
Oh, nice. Okay, cool.
for this camp, and I mean he's what a delight that kid is to work with. Such a smart kid, and he's got incredible boxing. I mean, his jab is lightning quick, and just a really tough, good kid. And so he's been doing his boxing with him. It's a very similar, um, I would say, ability to counter. Erceg is really good at countering, moving backward. He does a really good job sliding out just right out of the way, and that takes really good distance management. And Giannis is perfect for that. We got our boy Matt Schnell back in, the
Nice.
veteran. He's got really good jujitsu, very good. And Schnell's just a vet. He's got tons of experience. We've got a bunch of kids down there that PI, that some of them that are younger, some of these Mexican kids that nobody knows yet that are real monsters. We've got a pretty good team down there. Another 35er named Brian. So we're training with some really tough guys and trying to get a look from each guy that can coincide with what Erceg is good at. Erceg is very well balanced.
Mhm. What was the connection to bringing in Yanez? Like, I know he's from Texas, so he lives there as well, but also Yanez is the same manager as Moreno. How did that all get set up?
Exactly.
Oh,
No,
okay, it was the manager
exactly.
through
Yeah,
Jason.
that was
Okay,
a,
that makes sense.
Jason is always grinding for his guys and trying to connect them and give them what they want. And um, me and Adrian have known each other for quite some time. He fought Miles for the
That's right.
LFA belt,
Yeah, man,
and
bringing
I
back
remember,
memories.
yeah, and I remember when I was with Macy. She won the tough
Mhm.
title.
Yeah.
She won that night. And I remember we did a FaceTime, me and Macy, and she had her little trophy, and Miles had the belt. And I remember, being so happy. And then I went back and I saw Adrian Yanez's interview. And, his dad had passed away. And he was like, I wanted to win this belt for my dad so bad. And I was like, damn, and I've
Mhm.
always loved that kid. And just, he's just such a sweet kid and a good kid. And he's a Texas kid.
Yeah.
And then, Saul, which was his coach, he was a badass coach. He was the man. And then he passed away. So it was like I always kind of would reach out to him and look out for him and just kind of try to, be there for him because I always just felt like I'd seen this kid have so much heartbreak. And so we've always kind of had that relationship. But Adrian just always um, has such a good attitude. And the thing is, skill wise, I think that he is, got a ton in the tank, and I think that we're going to see a lot from him. And I think he can give Brandon a look that not many people can give. He's
Yeah.
got hands, he's got boxing um, that really is complete. So, with fights at this level, James, you got to bring in the best guys because you're fighting the best guys, and you cannot leave any stone unturned because you can't lie to yourself going in, especially these 5-round fights.
Early prediction. How do you see the fight going down with Brandon and Steve? Obviously, you like your guy, but I think it's going to be. I mean, this has got like a fight of the year on paper with their two styles.
I don't like fight of the years.
For sure.
Uh,
Don't get paid by the
we
hour
were
either. So
we were in one of those with Pantoja, and,
yeah,
and it didn't turn out our way, but
yeah,
it was incredible. Uh, Brandon's in a different place right now. He's just really dialed in. So I think that Erceg is a threat. Like I said, I think he poses different threats at Albazi. Um, did not pose. Put it that way. And I think that we're taking him very seriously, but I think Brandon's got even more steam now than he did going into that fight. And I mean, what do you say to a two-time UFC undisputed champion? I mean, the guy puts his mind to something. It's powerful, and he's a powerful athlete. Mentally, he's in an incredible place, and he's ready. And I'm sure Erceg's ready too. I'm sure Erceg is pissed off about losing those two fights, and that's something to prove. So I'm looking at him as being the most dangerous he's ever been. I'm not looking at a guy that's off two losses. I'm looking at a guy that's backed in a corner that has a lot of skill and a lot of will. So we're ready.
Quickly before we go, Geoff Neal, how's he looking? I know he became a father again, and obviously a lot going into this fight with Carlos Prates. Just how's Geoff looking ahead of this big fight?
Well, we got him sparring all these young bucks, and we brought in a bunch of tall guys, a lot of tough guys. I mean, we're really putting him through the test because Prates is tough, man,
Hmm.
and we know Prates is coming.
Yeah,
So we've had a hard camp, and we're putting in the rounds, and we got to be ready for the best Carlos Prates that there has been. He had a little injury, took some time off, and he's a guy that fought Muay Thai, so he's used to fighting a lot. So a well-rested guy is going to be dangerous.
yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. And any update on Macy? Obviously, too bad about her fight at UFC Seattle, but any update on when
She's
we might see her back?
Yeah, you'll see her before June.
Okay, nice. That's good. And any other
Yeah.
names we should be keeping an eye out for at Fortis that you got coming up here? I know you're busy every weekend, it seems.
Yeah, no, I mean, no doubt. I would say that I was just talking to Mike Bond before you, and I would say that, man, the young guys, like the amateur team, I've been plucking these guys now and pulling them up in the room to use them with guys like Geoff. I mean, these guys are like, oh, 1-0 and 2-0, and maybe a 1-0 pro. And I mean, it's just amazing to see, right, the skill that
Mhm.
these young guys possess, and they don't quite possess the know-how yet and the experience that the older guys have. But I mean, the young generation over there, they've really been impressing me lately. So I've been giving them a little bit of love because we've just ignored them for 5 years. It's just all the UFC guys. That's all.
Mhm.
Nobody's paying attention to the little guys, right? And those little guys have just been battling and battling and battling and battling. Now here they are at 23, 24 years old, and they're badass, and I wonder to see if which one of these guys, we've had 8, maybe 9 now ranked fighters, and
That's crazy.
yeah, so to get 100 wins, but to have almost 10% of that ranked, all ranked fights is not easy. Ranked fights are hard, and fighting for the title and fighting fit 5-round fights and main events, and to see these kids going with these guys that have been ranked for several years tells you the pedigree of these guys and also where the sport's going. You saw that Lima kid this weekend. Like the young generation is just incredible, the talent. But will they have the know-how and the experience to get there? These guys know how to win that have been here. The Geoff and guys like that have been there for so long. They've beaten so many tough guys. They've won so many hard fights to stay there. The Mike Perrys, the Ponzinibbio's, the Vicente Luques. It's not easy to beat tough guys like that. So I'm interested in seeing what this next generation is going to do, and I've been impressed by them. I don't want to get their heads too big.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. Quickly before we go, Ankalaev, what did you think of that win 2 weekends ago, dethroning Alex Pereira? What a performance that was, especially beating him in striking.
Yeah, I mean, he won the fight,
Yeah,
and I mean, you could say whatever you want, but he won the fight, and like I said, it's kind of similar to Islam, right? Like he's balanced. He has good enough striking to push the pace and then win those exchanges, and he put him on his back foot. And I just think that most guys don't do really well off their back foot. Not in MMA. There's too many variables. So it was an impressive win, and he's the champ. And I think the rematches. I think Pereira's done some pretty cool stuff, and I think it's cool that he's getting a rematch. And we'll see what happens.
yeah. Coach, thanks as always for the time. Anything you want to plug before we get out here? As always, I'll give you the last word.
No, I just want to thank everybody for the shout outs and the messages and all the love. I mean, it was just tremendous to get so much love, and I appreciate all the athletes and everybody that's just been a part of this journey. to get to 100 wins. And I mean, it really is tremendous when I sit back and think about it. And I'm just so grateful and appreciative to everybody. I just can't believe that we finally got here. So, yeah, man, just really grateful.